Alright everyone, it's time for an interesting note within current US politics, which is that two of the relatively mainline Democratic candidates, in fact number 2 and number 3 in polling at the moment, which is respectively Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren. Bernie is now at the top, which is, it's funny to see him be the front runner briefly until Biden probably gets in, I expect. At some point. He needs to get in soon. It's like, you don't need an exploratory committee. On day one, you got 25-30% of people that want you to be the nominee. Fucking take the opportunity. Biden would probably be the nominee. Yes, you can, at the very least, you can be the nominee for the Democratic Party for the President of the United States. You know, it's sort of the capstone of your career, whether you win or whether you lose. If vice president's less than that, I would think this is like, you know, one step away from being the big cheese. That is Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris believe in giving reparations to people affected by slavery. And I'm thinking to myself, at least as an institutional thing, there is no American alive today that has been affected by slavery. The idea that your ancestors suffered through some sort of problem, therefore you're owed something by society, I think is ridiculous. That's like saying, well, my parents were, like in my case, parents were poor, grandparents were poor, working in lower class all the way back basically to the time in which the people were coming over as colonists. We're talking before the United States existed. My family lineage has been in this area alone since the 1700s, or possibly earlier than that. Came to what became the United States, actually landed initially in Virginia, I think in the middle of the 1600s. So they certainly faced a lot of adversity. Look, some of them died of smallpox, died in childbirth. There were all sorts of... They fought and died in wars, and they were poor the whole fucking time and misused by a bunch of rich people. Does that mean that those people who come from that gentry sort of lineage need to pay me money? No, fuck you. I don't need your help. I'll make my own money. It's just like when Bernie Sanders comes out with his snake oil on student loans to try to get all the young people to vote for him. Don't gobble it up. Don't take the socialist lie and swallow it. Trust me, long term, you'll do better if you try to forge ahead yourself, even through that debt. I know what it's like. I've got a lot of student debt. Now I'm making more than a little bit of headway now, but for a long time it's like a huge chain around my neck. I don't believe in socialism. I think that it's the great lie. It looks good to the poor and downtrodden, and then they get it and they become more poor and downtrodden, and more people become poor and downtrodden with them. Oh, we're all equal now, equally miserable. Yeah, no thanks. I don't want that kind of society. I don't trust Uncle Sam to make decisions for me. Insofar as it's possible, I'd rather just remain at liberty to do what I want. Thank you very much. Yeah, fuck taxes. But, I mean, the idea of reparations is itself intrinsically racist. We're going to give free things to a group of people based on the color of their skin. Well, how do you even know? I mean, because of a lack of documentation within the genealogical history of a lot of people back then, how would you even know that they were legitimately affected by slavery? And what about someone that, you know, they were a free black lands here, like, you know, a couple hundred years ago or something, never is enslaved, is, you know, in the Union or whatever, and basically is just a normal citizen. Well, do you get money? Is it like you're going to split hairs on which black people you want to give free money to? And you do have slavery in the U.S., Unfortunately, most of it's run by criminal gangs, and it involves the trafficking of women and sometimes children. That's the unfortunate part. I would think that Kamala, with her tough-on-crime approach, would be like, why don't we wipe out modern-day slavery and go after these gangs? Step 1, loosen gun restrictions. Step 2, start ending the drug war. I know Kamala's basically two-faced on this. She's like, she prosecutes and throws people in prison for extraordinary sentences for simple possession years ago, but then at the same time, apparently, she was smoking weed while listening to Tupac. Yeah, you're not a total fucking hypocrite, Kamala Harris. Of course she is. What a moron. It would make me lose a little bit of faith in this country if people were actually dumb enough to elect Kamala Harris. That's even worse than Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren's racist too, but at least in her case, she never threw anyone, as far as I know, into prison for years for possessing a fucking joint while smoking weed at the same time. I mean, that's crazy talk. Oh, yeah, I smoked weed. See, I'm one of the cool kids. I'm like, they're trying to pull an Obama, or oddly enough, a Trump, or a Beto O'Rourke, but she's doing it better because she's less cringy. People still want him to get into the race. It's crazy talk, too. By the way, the concept of equal treatment under the law being in effect, wouldn't this violate that concept? wouldn't it be a little bit problematic? I guarantee that an injunction would be issued by a federal court if an attempt was made to rob part of the population in order to secure the votes of others based on wedge issues. The Democrats are good at this. They'll cast it in a positive light, and they'll say, well, it's to help the underprivileged and stuff. No, that's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to pander for votes. Please be honest. It's just with the Jussie Smollett stuff with Kamala Harris. She comes out immediately after, says, oh my God, it's modern day lynching. This is Trump's America. It's horrible stuff. That hasn't really apologized in the wake of it. She's like, well, yes, he did a terrible thing, and blah, sort of hanging her head half in shame and slinking off when questioned by the media. And they're going to handle her with kid gloves on it. Same with Warren, who weighed in as well. The idea of reparations is crazy. So the two people that want to give black people reparations are a woman who spent 30 plus years lying about her ethnicity in order to gain extra kudos in her job and in education and stuff. That's Warren, who spent that time lying and taking advantage of affirmative action, essentially. And a woman who used to throw black people in prison for extended periods for smoking pot. Those are the two people in the Democratic Party that are really going to take the charge on this issue. No, it's because I think right now they're fucking terrified because the wedge issue usage has begun to break down in usefulness, so they've had to go even further to the left. It's just like on the border. You have mainline Democratic candidates and potential candidates openly proclaiming that they want to eliminate the concept of border control altogether. Like Elon Omar talking about DHS, not one penny for them. Okay, so fuck FEMA, so disaster relief goes out the window too. And then Beto saying, I would tear down the whole border wall on the Texas border between us and Mexico. We need togetherness and shit. So it's trying to be like a richer version of John Lennon, I guess. What the fuck are these people doing? I don't think that their strategy will work. I'm not too worried about the Democrats winning because I've noticed that they keep saying stupid things that inevitably are going to alienate the kind of voting blocks they really need to be whining and dining. What they need is someone sane to appeal to business Democrats. The only one they've got to do that potentially is Biden, who is geriatric and who has trouble delivering speeches and debating without making mistakes. He simply makes too many gaffes and errors, I think, to be a credible candidate. Trump can get by. If he makes a mistake, people just chalk it up to 4D chess. They're not going to do that for Joe Biden. Joe Biden's not in the same league as Trump when it comes to charisma. Not even close. Like when Joe Biden comes and says, oh, I'd love to punch that fucker in the back of the head, and Trump's like, come take it. Jesus. Come and take a swing, says Big Dong. You're half a decade older than me, so you probably get osteoporosis at this point. Meanwhile, he chugs down the hamburgers, so he's got a good calcium intake at least. You know, he could stand to lose like 10 pounds, in all honesty. No, but I mean, I'm looking at reparations. I'm not paying you jack shit, dude. I'm not paying jack shit for that. It's unconstitutional. Fuck off. That's about all. Peace out.